We are looking at your second problem on your quiz, or one very similar to the one you're going to get. This is from chapter 7, production cost and industry structure. So we have a table and a graph on here that shows the cost functions for a barbershop called clip joint. And we're going to use the information in the table and in the graph to answer the following questions. So the challenge for you guys in this question is you're going to have to compute the answers in the last 3 columns. So I actually, got this from a spreadsheet that I designed that looks like this. And I put the formulas in here so I could get all my answers. You're going to see a spreadsheet, not a spreadsheet, but a table that looks like the one on the right. So you're going to have to compute, not all of these, just the ones that I'm going to ask you for. So maybe 2 of the rows. You're not going to have to completely fill in the whole table. So we're going to look at this, and it's not hard. It's just being careful and making sure, by the way, that your answers are to the penny, so that you go out to 2 decimal places past the dollar. So you can see the answers here in the table for the problem we're going over. You're not going to see the answers. You're going to see these blank cells in the one that you're going to be doing for your quiz. But I'm going to show you how to do this, and it isn't hard. So let's jump back over to our to the one over here. Now, so we've got a labor, units of labor, which you could think of as workers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The quantity that is produced at each level of labor, right? The fixed cost for this firm, which is fixed. The variable cost for each level of output, 16 haircuts, 40, let me grab my ball, 40, whoa, let me put them in front so we can see them. 40, 60, 72, up to 90. Then we have the total cost right here. Now, all of this, all what's in black is a given. Okay, then we've got to compute average total cost, average variable cost, and marginal cost. So it's very easy to see how to do the first two right here. You just basically, for average total cost, you you do take the total cost and simply divide it by the quantity. So when we jump back over here to my spreadsheet, you can see that right here, I put in a formula that divides the column here, the total cost, F4 right here, divided by C4, which is the quantity. And I've done that all the way down. Now, for the average variable cost, you simply take the total variable cost here and divide by the quantity over here, okay? So if we're dealing with, you're not going to have a spreadsheet, unless you actually want to design one, which you don't have to. You're going to have something that looks like this right here without the answers. So let's look at how you would solve this with just a simple calculator. Now, you are going to have the graph. You're going to have the graph here, so you can sort of see ballpark where your answer should be by the graph. The graph is not going to give you the exact answers you're looking for to the penny, okay? So what are we asking for here? Let's jump down. So the first question here, what is the average total cost, average variable cost, and marginal cost of a production if clip joint barbers give 40 haircuts. Okay, so we're talking about 40 haircuts. So we can see right here at 40, and you're going to have a graph very similar to look at, right? So you can see that the marginal cost is somewhere right in here. The average variable cost is a little bit higher, but still below 5. And the average total cost is going to be somewhere between, it looks like 7 and it looks like somewhere around 7. That's what you can get from the graph, but that's only the approximate answers. In order to get the exact answers, we're going to have to do some math from your table. So we're looking at 40 haircuts. Okay, so let's jump back up here. And we're looking at this row right here of 40. So in order for us to arrive at the correct answer for average total cost, we simply just want to take at 40, right? We want to take the total cost, which is 320, and divide by the quantity, which is 40, and we get our answer, 8. Okay, easy enough. The average variable cost is simply the variable cost, which is 160 divided by 40, which is 4. Okay, now the marginal cost here is a little bit more tricky because you don't have quantity just going up by 1. You got quantity going up 16, 40, 60. So what we're doing here, let me jump back over to the spreadsheet. So what we have right here is we've got a difference in total cost, which is this column right here, okay? So we're going to subtract, in order to get the marginal cost for a unit, we're going to subtract the total cost for 0 from the cost for 1. That gives us the difference in the cost, okay? And then we've got to divide by the difference in the quantity, which here is going to be 16. So if we do that, let's just see what's going to happen here. If we go 240 minus 160, which is our difference in total cost, equals, and then we're going to divide by the difference in the quantity right here. Okay, so we're going to divide by 16. That's going to give us our marginal cost of 5. So $5 per unit. Okay, so you've got to divide by the quantity. So they're asking us to figure out the one for 40. So we simply take the difference in the cost going from 1 to 2. So right here, just right here, do you see where my cursor is? Right here, 40. So I'm going to subtract 240 from 320. Okay, that's going to give me my a difference in the cost going from 16 to 40. Okay, so let me jump back over to my spreadsheet. So 320 minus 240 gives us 80 right here as our difference. Now we're dividing by 40. I mean, we're dividing by 40 minus 616, which is 24, right? So we're dividing by 24, and that's going to give us $3.33 as our marginal cost for a quantity of 40, which I believe is what we're asking for here, right? Jump back down. Yeah, and you would do the same thing for a quantity of 80. So I don't need to do it for you again, but you just use this row right here, okay? All right. Now, the next question is, at what level or levels of output is clip joint productively efficient? Now, if you remember, well, I'm not sure we've gone over this or not. I think we have, but if we haven't, we define the way we determine or define what it is to be productively efficient. That's going to be where average total cost is at its minimum. Okay. So if we look up here, that's going to be right in here. Okay. So it's going to be 60, the quantities of 16 to 72, our average total cost is at its minimum. Okay. And that would be looking at a graph right here. That would be this area right there where it's at its minimum. Okay. So the reason I said levels because it would be in between 40 or no, I'm sorry, 60 and 72. We can see that our average total cost is a minimum. Now, you don't have to say the exact dollar amount here. I'm just saying I'm just asking you what are the levels of output that clip joint is productively efficient, which is really what I'm asking you is where is average total cost the lowest at its minimum. Okay. Number 4, at what level of output does clip joint begin to experience diminishing marginal productivity? Well, that's easy. We just look at our marginal cost, and this is going to require you to compute a marginal cost for the first 3 here, okay? Or until it starts to go, until it starts to go up, because when a marginal cost is going down, like it is between 1 and 2 units of labor, and between 16 and 40 units of output, or in this case, haircuts, we've got our actual returns are increasing as we add a labor, because our marginal cost here is decreasing. As soon as a marginal cost starts to increase, which is as we move from 2 to 3, so at a level of 3 units of labor, and what am I asking you here? Okay, I'm asking you for the level of output. So at a level of output of 60, we have an increase in a marginal cost, which means we are at that point at an output of a 60, we are experiencing diminishing marginal productivity. Now, in order to get this answer, you're going to have to compute marginal costs for the first 3 or 4 until it starts to go up. So remember, you're going to be dividing the difference in the total cost, right, by the difference in quantity in order to get the marginal cost over here, okay? And lastly, I'm asking you, if the price of a haircut was $10, how many barbers should clip joint employ? If the price of a haircut was 10, okay, so we're going to assume that we are in a competitive market. So we want price to be equal to the marginal cost, okay? So if the price of a haircut is $10, and we and at the production level of 80 haircuts, the marginal cost is a 10, and we can go down here and look at our graph and see. So we're going to want price. If price is 10, it's going to equal marginal cost right here and an output of 80 haircuts. And we can also see that up here on our table. Where's my thing? Right here, 10, an output of 80 haircuts. And in order for this barber shop, Quip Joints, have an output of 80 haircuts, we're going to need to hire 5 barbers. Okay, 5 units of labor. So the answer would be 5. There you go. So that is how you do problem 2 on the quiz. Stay tuned for problem 3.